Yo, what's up, everybody? Sober Experience. We are back. Hope everybody's having a good week. I'm having a very eventful week. Yeah, things are going great, man. And they're moving along. They're moving along. And yeah, I had some stuff I wanted to talk about, share about. Yeah. And I had this whole other episode, but it got fucking zapped. And I don't know if you guys know, but typically, almost, I'd say 95 or 98% of the time, I'm like one take Charlie. So, you know, I hit record, I talk, and then I stop, and then that's it. And whatever it is what it is. And but I really enjoyed talking about that other shit, so I'm going to try and revisit that now. Last time I just gave like basically my huge drunkalog story, whatever. And, you know, I promise this time it's not going to be that. No way. Like, you know, that was like an hour of me just like psychobabble. You know, but it was good though. You know, just in case some of you need to know how I get down, you know, and that's how we get down over here. So, yeah, man, we're staying sober. And, part of the sobriety I always talk about is, you know, reflection, growth, inventories. How could I be better? How could I do better? How have I been wrong? Right? Which is funny. So I wanted to play something. And this is you know, again, this is like the part of the show where like sometimes I try to... yeah, sometimes I come up with stuff on the spot, music or whatever that I like to play, whatever I'm in the mood for. And sometimes I try to make it stick to what I'm talking about. So there's this guy that I follow on the gram. I think I played it. I don't know if I played a different one, but I played something similar last time. Not one of these other times where like somebody's just basically giving like, you know, unsolicited advice. You know, unsolicited advice. And these guys, the guy's name is Clayton Farris, Farris. And he normally does these skits with this girl, and they're amazing. If you find them on the ground, they're very funny. So they did one that really made me laugh. So I'm going to play it. And it actually ties into what I spoke about before and what I'm going to talk about today for a little bit. So here we go.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm okay. Just been a little depressed.
You know what you need?
What?
Have you ever tried earthing?
What's that?
It's when you walk on the grass for 10 to 20 minutes a day. No shoes.
Yeah, I mean, I've been barefoot before.
No, but for 10 to 20 minutes a day.
Never tried that.
You should try it.
Yeah, I could look into that. But, I mean, I'm pretty down.
You know what you need?
What?
You get a juicer. This will change your life.
Celery?
Girl.
I'm a guy.
Girl.
I don't have a juicer.
You can get one. Just pick one up.
Okay, how much is a juicer?
$3,000.
I can't afford that.
You're either paying for it now or you're paying for it in hospital bills.
Okay, thank you. I will pay for it in the hospital bills.
Take this.
Thank you.
You know what you need, though?
What do I need?
The secret.
Where did you get that?
Where'd I get it? I secreted it.
You secreted it?
Yeah, I secreted it.
So secret's a verb now.
Read this.
I'll read this at some point. Thank you.
Oh, I know what you need.
What?
Oh.
A crystal?
Stay there.
Busting
what
out the
doing?
crystals.
Are you okay?
You need to clear your chakras.
Okay.
You do. My hands hurt.
I appreciate what you're doing, but I'm not sure that it's helping.
Man, that was so funny. And I identify, you know, and what I find funny about those skits, they have like a few different ones. They have really good breakup ones, like Gen Z and Gen X ones, and they have one from the 1920s, which is unfucking real. Maybe I'll play that one on the way out, just so everybody can have a good laugh. It's incredible. I probably watch it like 75 times a week. It's so good. I want to steal like some of that old slang. But anyway, those of you who've been fans of the show for a long time, know that, I got these 3 kids. And, yeah. And I've always had, I can say problems. I'd say problems. Yeah, problems, with my middle kid, and I have to say, if basically I was like your on-field reporter for, raising, questioning friggin' kids. I don't even know if you can even call them gay or anything anymore. It's probably like an insult to say, oh, well, aren't you gay? But don't call me gay. But aren't you gay? But don't call me gay. Like, whatever. Who knows? I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But in the last, 6 months, things have been better than ever. Better than ever. And they're on the right trajectory. And I had them working with me. And wanted to share that. I want to share that progress is being made and tell you how that happened. All right. So and here's the thing, because I was talking with them in the car. They were working with me for the day, and I had to acknowledge both of them. I mean, not both of, there's only one of them. I had to acknowledge, that, yeah, we're doing great. And one of the reasons why we're doing great is because a while ago, I went from making a decision of being struggling with, how much influence, I shouldn't say influence, how much power and influence is not the same thing. So how much power do I have over these kids versus how much do I have had over my biological son, And oddly enough, I mean, they I wouldn't say they go hand in hand, but as have more experience, I feel like influence is holds a lot more weight than just you're going to fucking do this or don't do that. I used to just meet aggression with aggression, and that was it. And I just wanted compliance or whatever. So I was sharing with them. I was like, listen, I said, one of the things that I wish that I'd done different was be a little bit more patient and just allow things to develop, even though I'm right about a lot of stuff, only because I have experience. I'm not some kind of guru, but I have experience. I've been a young person and I've been an adult. And if I'm just hey, listen, this is where the potholes are on the road that you're on. And they're like, no, because they, and then eventually they step into potholes, whether it's this one or any of the other ones. I don't really, I would give advice in a selfish way. I could say that now. Looking back, maybe it wasn't 100% selfish, but it was okay, here's the thing. All right, I see that you're struggling with this, whether it's them or my son, or my woman, even the people that work for me. Yeah. So I say, this is, as with my kids, it's okay, as a parent, I see them in distress and I just want to pour water on the whole thing because I want to eliminate the distress. I don't want them to be in pain, and it's a very easy fix. And I'm in a position where I can fix most things. And if not, then I have a network of people that will help me fix most problems, or that can steer me in the right direction. So I would come from a place of listen, if you want to do that, I'm letting you know that is a bad fucking idea because of this, this, and this. And I'm going to have to clean up the fucking mess when you don't listen, and surprisingly, that approach doesn't work. I mean, surprisingly, very, what's the word? Facetiously? Is that the right word? Yeah. Surprisingly, it doesn't work. So, I allowed them a little bit more space and a little bit less, Yeah, just a little bit less less of me in their face about everything, because I can be in their face about every single thing, and it's because I don't want to be picking up after somebody. But guess what? Apparently, as a parent, that's a small piece of your job, but that's still part of your job. There's some people who, I don't know, maybe they don't, maybe they do, I don't fucking know, right? So we're having this talk because they're just coming out of this, I don't know how many years. It's probably, they're 23, so since they're like 17 of like ultimate, or 16, ultimate battle of, adolescence. I don't even want to say mental health, because I think, listen, at this day and age, everybody could be diagnosed with something. Oh my God, you have anxiety, and you have ADHD, and you have this, you have that, like, whatever, right? So I'm just going to say adolescence, because if that stuff stays in adulthood, then okay. But magically, some of that stuff is like melting away, Surprise, surprise, right? So, but it's like been a fucking battle. And, I had my own battles. And as I shared in the last episode, I was completely and utterly out of control, and I wasn't in control of how out of control I was. It was really it was really just crazy. It was really just, it was mental health. You can categorize that. And anyway, so they're just coming out of that stuff now. It's seemingly, or it's gotten a lot better. And since they've gotten a lot better, we've gotten a lot better. And part of it has to do with, and I know I shared this already, and is that they're starting to take testosterone, right? So I know that naturally testosterone just makes you feel better. But I guess it was a real missing link for them. I don't know. But their attitudes and their behaviors have changed. And coupled with, so we were having that kind of conversation. So periodically I check in with them like, yeah, how's the tea? How's the tea? How's the tea? Tea obviously mean test. And they're like, yeah, it's going good. I'm agitated more. I'm this, that, more, whatever. I'm like, okay. So now if somebody asks me, like, hey, my kid wants to start taking testosterone, or, hormone therapy, I can say, look, my kid was fucked up in the game, and really struggling. Yeah, they were struggling, man. They were struggling. They were struggling with even accepting help. And that's like the biggest struggle. The biggest struggle on earth is asking for help and accepting help. Almost like accepting, surrender or defeat, whatever. It's the hardest thing ever, right? So, and I was telling them that, like, I actually have experience now with this that I can share with somebody and be helpful. And she's like, and they're like, yeah, listen, it's not just obviously, and we agreed. It wasn't only the hormones. It was also, apparently they've had a really good therapist for the last few years, and they've done a bunch of work, and they're in these communities of people who also are like them. I don't know if it's just online or whatever. I don't know what it is. They're not going to meetings or anything like that, but whatever, like, questioning kids, trans kids, gay kids, whatever, the Rainbow Mafia. They're in the Rainbow Mafia. But I also think it's just, biology. Like, they're just growing out of that stuff, And there's no, there's no timetable when that happens. And that's the one thing that I learned how to say to them. I said, listen, man, like, it doesn't matter how old you are. There's no race. There's people who are 23 years old who went to college and met their spouse in college. Now they're, You know, they graduated, they're doing these jobs, they're seemingly have it all together, whatever. And I said, my Facebook feed is full of them that are now in their 40s getting fucking divorced and having these midlife crises and leaving their wives, you know, or leaving their husbands. And you know that, oh, bro, it's so funny because you can smell it right away. It's like, you know, when I see it, and I'm just like, okay, well, here's a person, you know, out of nowhere, they post a picture, like a new, I know I'm on Facebook, which is for old people who love to be in other people's business. So I'm a little bit of a yenta for that. I got to sneeze. God damn. That was the Jew canoe. Jew kazoo. So, yeah. So that's the thing. The thing is, so I'll look and I'll be like, okay. Out of nowhere, this person, all of a sudden, their profile picture is them by themselves. I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go. And then, like, I can't help myself. Then I go looking, and all of a sudden, the husband is gone. Or the wife is gone. Or it's them and their kids. And all of a sudden, the spouse is gone. And I'm like, oh, there we go. You know, they're in that thing. And I'm not wishing bad on them, but I'm just like, hey, some of these people were the same people who said I was fucked up. I was a fucked up person. And I was a fucked up person. But, you know, some of these other things I definitely, you know, in adulthood I've gotten right. You know, I'm getting married in like 30 days, 35 days. So I'm in my 40s and 44. And I'm an adult. And this person, barring an unforeseen event, is my life partner. And that is true. A 100% motherfucking fact. You know, each of us went our own route to get here, but whatever. Anyway, so what I tell them is that, like, hey, listen, man, like, you know, you just stay out of that fray. Like, you know, they've had, you know, some traumatic experiences in their life. You know, we all, you know, their mom obviously comes from a broken home, like a super broken one. Mine was just like, not broken, it was just like a little bit destructive. But like, you know, so that stuff, yeah. So they have their own shit that they had to deal with. And it was rough. And now they are doing incredible. Like, they're doing the best they've ever done. They're doing the best they've ever done. And they got accepted into EMT school, which is fucking amazing. And I'm proud of them. So, you know, I have to look at that, right, as a parent. And just say, hey, listen, man. Like, I know what my girl is thinking. She's thinking the same thing I'm thinking. But maybe we have different ideas about how to go about it, right? So, yeah, what are we thinking? We're thinking the same thing. Like, hey, listen, it just took, you know, 5 hard-ass years for you to climb out of this depression hole and all these other things, right? It took you 5 years to finally see some daylight. And now you are signing up for a job where you are going to be, your job is going to be dealing with very traumatic, crazy things. And it doesn't stop. And it's not getting cats out of a tree. I said this I may have said it on another show. You know, like, I was, you know, people who are EMTs, firefighters, whatever, first responders, you know, even the shitty cops or whatever. They deal with shit that I am not equipped to deal with. And I was friends with a kid. I'm going to say kid. He's a guy. And I don't know how much of it ruined his personality, but it definitely didn't affect him. Anyway, he was a homicide detective, and he was, you know, it was tough. It was tough. He would tell me, and I think he showed me one time, if I remember correctly. Like, you know, he's like, oh, I show up to work on a Tuesday morning. There's a 9-year-old girl hanging from the fucking ceiling in the apartment. That's my life, you know? And you can't unsee those things. And nobody in the neighborhood wants to help. Who did what? Blah, blah, blah. Nobody trusts the police. You know, it's a fucked up life. But that's like you're dealing with the most fucked up parts of life. Now, of course, yeah, he saved a lot of lives, and he was like relentless, and he solved a lot of I give him a lot of credit. He was really good at what he did. Like if something happened, I would want him to be the gumshoe. You know, he was really, really good, and he's retired. And guess what? He retired maybe in his mid-40s. Crazy, he was a crazy person. All that stuff fucked with him. He didn't have any regular life. I'm going to say regular life skills. Like his adrenaline and his nervous system was on fucking for 20 years, you know? So I think after he retired, he moved to like South Carolina, and then I think he finally got engaged and, you know, whatever. And could maybe have an semblance of maybe start to decompress from all that. So my girl is like telling her like, hey, listen, you're going to, or telling them, sorry, them, her, whatever. Not whatever. I'm trying to remember. Like, yo, you're going to, you know, is trying to pour water on the potential problem that's coming. I'm like, listen, man, like your stuff, you know, and I think because they don't know, that's like, listen, like how you are doesn't only affect you, it affects the rest of us. So you being fucked up in the game is not just about you. It's about other people, again, like me and like the mom, who have to fucking pick up after you when bad things happen, you know, or if you're in a super bad fucking spot, you know. So why would you volunteer to go back up into the fray? Like, it doesn't even make sense. I mean, it does make sense. I can say why it does make sense. I can speculate. But, so Em was just like, listen, like you're going to be seeing dead bodies and all kind of shit, and like really just trying to talk them out of it. So what I learned was that like, what I learned was I've been a lot more effective, especially with this one and with my son. You know, not going through the front door like that. Like you got to go through the window. So when we were working together, and they were sharing with me, it's like, yeah, mom doesn't want me to do it because of this, because they're scared I'm going to go back into the hole. When like, yeah, but I also could not go back into the hole, and I can do all these other things and whatever. And I was like, okay. I said, listen, we have to, you know, I said, but you actually both are true. I always say the same thing. Everything's on the menu. So, and they have to acknowledge, they're like, yeah, that's right. That's right. Both are true. So I can't tell you not to do it. You know, I want you to try it actually. But my suggestion is for you to take also some of these like civil service, other city exams where they don't call you right away. You know, whether you work for the city, the courts, the this, the that, you know, whatever. Like, they don't call you right away. They call you 4 or 5 years from now. So if you take those exams and you do very well and you get a number, then you can have that EMT job and it can be great and your number can be called and you can say, you know what? I'm not going. I'm going to stay here, and that's fine. But, or if you're in a bad spot, you'll have a backup plan. The only way that you should never, ever have a backup plan is if you are like starting a business, and that's what I shared with them. Like, because it can't be that. If you're starting a business and you want to do something, you have to be singleness of purpose. You got to be focused. You got to do the whole thing all the way through. Because if there was something else for me to fall back on, I would not be where I am. It makes me make things happen. Anyway, so that was my suggestion. And then because I explained to them, I said, I wish, you know, in the past, I wish I would have been more patient, you know, and let some of these things, some of your deficiencies develop, or you outgrow them before I just, again, come through the front door, you know, which is silly. So, yeah. And we were, it was a good conversation. And it was, you know, and then they were telling me, I was asking them questions like, hey, what part of you has changed, like internally, now that you have these different hormones going through you? And they were like, yeah, you know, I'm a little bit more irritated than I was before. and I don't have like that emotional sensitivity that I used to have, where like now my brain just kind of works on, and it's weird. She's describing almost like a boy. Like, yeah, you're just like, what, you know, no emotion, just solution, you know? And I think that's also part of why they're behaving differently. And if you would have told me that would have happened, I would have been like, I don't know. I don't think so, but I doubt it. Because you never know how these hormones affect anybody. But once you see them, you know, and they're describing like, oh, you're describing like, yeah, this is what it's like to be a boy. So I'm like, so what parts do you, how can you look back at your time being a full-time estrogen person versus now? Like, what were you wrong about men, and not just men, yeah, about men and boys and whatever. And then they shared some stuff with me. They were like, whatever, I'm not going to share, 'cause it's like, you know, whatever TMI stuff. But they were like, yeah, I thought guys were just like this because of this, but, you know, they have no control over some stuff, you know? And I was like, absolutely, you know? So then, you know, you can use that as a springboard, or as like a, you know, like a little lighthouse to where else in your life do you think that you know everything that you don't fucking know everything? You know, or where else can you give somebody that grace, or that, you know, where you can just let off the gas a little bit and not be so rigid about your thoughts, you know, and your behaviors. And it's good. It's nice to plant that kind of seed. And only until the people go through stuff, it's very rare that people like take your word for it. You know, my son had called me, and he was, we were talking about some stuff, and just regular life stuff, man. He's a grown-ass man now, 28 years old. Him, his woman, his dog, his career. You know, he's trying to save money. He's moving along. He's got a great job at Apple. He's fucking doing photography stuff. He's down there in Austin. He's like, I'm very, very, very proud. And I'm also pleased with, I'm proud of who he is as a person, and I'm pleased with the things he's accomplishing because of who he is, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so he has like, you know, regular, you know, coming of age struggles. And he used to call, you know, I've had the same conversations with him, you know, 6 months or a year ago about some of these situations. And I'm like, dog. And I used to always preface it, you know, maybe because he's a boy, I thought you could treat him different. And I did actually. I was like, bro, I'm going to tell you some things you're not going to want to hear, you know? And then I would just lay out what I believe to be the objective truth about situations that he's going through, and like how he can, you know, move differently to get a different result or whatever. And, you know, if I was, and I would be a little, because I wanted to pacify the pain, or prevent the pain from happening, I would be a little bit rough about it, which I could have been a lot better about it. And that was the other thing I told the other one, you know, that I could have been a lot better with my delivery about how these things, and the delivery comes from, you know, fear or whatever. Just sometimes it's just motive. Sometimes I'm like, bro, I don't want to deal with this shit in 6 months, so you better fucking listen now. Or it's just like, hey, look, man, this is going to be a tough conversation, because this is a tough situation, a tough life. And how do I get the results? The results is like, you don't want somebody to be a repeat offender, you know, to just keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. So when we're talking this time, I'm like, hey, listen, like, you know, he's telling me shit like these, like that. I'm going to say something that I never said out loud before, but I know to be true. And then he said what he was going to say. And I was like, okay. I said, that's the first thing, you know, that you know, whatever you know. And, or however you can improve in some of these situations where you're being irresponsible, where you're not. I don't like, it's hard for me to describe this and say like somebody's being dishonest. I wouldn't say dishonest, but I'd say they're not being honest with themselves. And some people are too scared to be very honest with themselves, or they're not honest about how the situation or what's going on, like how it's going down. Because when you're in the middle of the soup, you can only see what you could see. So even when I asked him, I was like, bro, like, who else do you talk to about this stuff? And he was like, nah, it's, you know, really, just you. And I'm like, and my fucking heart broke. You know? My freaking heart broke. So I'm like, yo, man, you gotta, now I'm with the you gotta. I'm like, bro, I have a whole network of people, hundreds of people, close ones that will drop shit for me. And when I'm in distress, not like, oh, here, I'm going to go beat somebody up. But like I'm in distress, I can legit say 50. And maybe I'm lowballing that. Like that I can be like, listen, I'm in a fucking pinch right now, you know? And it doesn't mean that they disregard what they're doing, but they'll be like, hey, listen, I can come or I will help with you this way, you know? Like legit. And he doesn't even have people that he can be honest about some of the areas in his life that he's trying to work on, you know? And it's not like, you know, he's not like the other kid. I mean, he's very much a he, him. So it's not like, you know, butt sex stuff or whatever. But, yeah, it's just regular life stuff. Money, bill, it's everything. Oh, it's always the same. What is it? Finance, romance, you know, career. That's it, really, you know, whether or not you want to have kids, like all this other stuff, you know. And it's challenging, you know. It's different when you're 23 or 22 versus when you're 28, right? And you start saying, hey, look, I could really, you know, I could press the gas here and I could really be great. So it hurt me, man. I was like, damn, this. And I told him, I said, yo, you can call Nemo, you know. He'll help you. He'll talk to you, and he has a lot of experience. He's got like friggin' 5 kids. He's got a successful business. He's a homeowner, you know. He's got a wife. He's, you know. So he's got a lot of experience on things that maybe he did right and things that maybe he did wrong along the way. And he loves you. And yeah. And it just hurt me, man, that he doesn't have what I have. And I want to be able to give it to him. But I can give him my network. He knows everybody, bro. My son is going to come to my wedding, and he is going to be like the belle of the ball. Like, unbelievable. Like, the amount of, yeah. Like, he will be like, you know, everybody loves him. Everybody knows him. Everybody misses him. You know, especially all my AA and NA friends. They known that kid since he's fucking 8 years old. You know, intimately. They all know him as, you know, Uncle Anthony and fucking Uncle Roberto. Well, Roberto's not coming. You know, and Justin and everybody. Fucking everybody. Even the guys that work for me, Ori, like everybody. They're all like these, you know, older brother, uncle figures for him. For the rest of his life, if he wants. And that's the thing. I'll be like, dude, you know, they love him. His Uncle Chad, oof. Chad, my fucking best friend on earth. You know, he's going to be there. You know, a lot of people. And there's a lot of love. So I would, like, you know, I wouldn't say behoove him to start going around taking people's numbers. But, you know, maybe start tapping in with some of these people. Or you got to build a network of people who are down there, who are in your space, that are in your age, that are going through similar stuff. So maybe you struggle together, but also people who are like a little bit ahead of the game than you. So they can say, hey, look, here's where the potholes are. You know, here's where the potholes are. And that's, it's invaluable. I don't even know how people do it without that. My girl is the same way. She fucking doesn't have then it's so crazy to me. Because then all you have is tunnel vision of your own perspective. So every decision you make either is on you. You're either 100% right or 100% wrong. Who the fuck wants those odds, bro? Would you bet, like, your kid's well-being on those odds? You know, if you want to get, like, very, like, dramatic about it. Like, you know, do you want to bet your kid's well-being on those odds? You know? Like, who does? Like, or you can, but with ego deflation, you'll be like, hey, listen, if I want my kids and my life to have the best possible possibilities, I need to have group, the group has to help me steer the ship. Or has to help me row, or like whatever. I mean, look, God does the big steering. You do a little bit of the little steering, but you do all the rowing. But there's other people who are like working on the ship. They're like the lookouts, like, hey, man, I know where this road goes. So it may not go exactly that way, but you need to, if you're going to go down this road, you need to be careful for this. That's what you need to do. You need to be careful for this. And you need to know what's on the menu. All right. So that's going to be it. I am going to get out of here. But I think, you know what, I'm going to play that other thing because it's so funny. It's irrelevant to what I was saying, what the first like little skit was, but it's like so funny that I want to share with you guys. So like you can have a very, very good laugh. Let me find it. But yeah, so don't forget, like and subscribe on all podcast platforms. What else? Like and subscribe all podcast platforms. The Sober Experience. Share it with your friggin' friends, even if they get offended. If they don't get offended, And yeah, help us. We're all gonna win together. So again, this is the same people I mentioned before, and this is called the 19. Now again, now I'm being like a weirdo. I love the slang, and they do this for like every generation. They have like Gen Z ones, Gen X ones, and if you heard all of these already, then fuck you. I'm sorry, I'm late to the party. But I love like this old slang. It's almost like, somebody speaking another language, and you can understand what they're saying without knowing all the words. So, all right, I'm gonna put it on. Love you guys. Peace.
Hey, doll. Sorry I'm late. Had to iron out the old shoelaces. How's my best gal?
Applesauce. Were you busy being a dewdropper?
What are you, 6 feet deep on giggle water? You're my one and only hotsy totsy.
Then why did I find these knickers in your jalopy?
I've never seen these knickers in my life. I've been framed.
Don't feed me that Bonus Bolognas.
I'm not. You know I wouldn't be caught dead with any other cuddle cootie.
You take me for a Mrs. Grundy? You may be zazzled, but I've been sipping noodle juice all day.
No one carries a torch to you, chicken. You're the berries, the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas.
Go tell it to Sweeney. I know your onions. You got me running around like a dumb Dora.
What's with the third degree?
You're no longer my slim. I gotta get my kicks before I turn into a no-good Trotsky.
So who am I supposed to make whoopee with now?
You should have thought of that before you chugged a pint of panther piss and dipped your sinker into a blowhot bimbo.
She's a tomato. A wind-sucking warp climbing up any old wang doodle that'll have.
Now you're on the trolley. You're gonna miss these gams.
You're damn straight.
Now quit being a mustard plaster, take your handcuff and scram.
Can I at least get one last petting party at the speakeasy before I skedaddle?
Oh, you made me do it.
You'll always be my choice piece of calico.
And you'll always be my no-good foot juice-chugging Bonnie mugger. But you're my Bonnie mugger.
And then they like dance away from each other. It's hilarious. I love when she said, now take your handcuff and scram. She's like giving him back an engagement ring or whatever, what kind of ring it was. Now take your handcuff and scram. It's hilarious. All right, guys. I love you. Sober Experience. Peace.